Hey guys, Tammy back again. I am back for another week of recording for you all. Today I'm going to be covering a bit more of my story, and that's probably going to run out very, very soon, as well as solutions for negative energy, negative spirits, everything like that, which involves both crystals, herbs, incenses, resins, some of the traditional tribal stuff, everything like that. As well as, I have another question as well. This is great. I can't believe it. People are actually asking me questions. Anyway, so onwards with my story. So I was pretty much raised a Christian, as oddly as Christian raising goes in Australia. My mother was raised a Christian. My father's an atheist, and I went to like a Uniting Church school, everything like that. I mean, to this day, I still collect Christian religious iconography as well as much other iconography. However, it didn't really ever settle with me that much as an actual belief system. So probably about the end of my schooling, I started to sort of research other religions and trying to get an idea of what else was out there. And one of the biggest ones I tended to settle on was Buddhism. For many years, I actually considered myself a Buddhist and sort of followed the Buddhist path. I wouldn't even know the word for it, but like the Buddhist read. The whole idea of not killing, being kind to others, everything like that really sort of settled with me. And I did love the fact that there wasn't exactly a specific deity, merely a person to aim for. After a while, I actually ended up meeting a pagan and discussing with them their belief systems, and I found that paganism especially settled with me really well. And I loved the entire concept of the nature spirits, the connection to nature, the real emphasis on the natural world being the divine. And so I researched that for many, many years. I studied a variety of pagan religions, which included, for instance, like as a true Viking Nordic sort of style thing. And I found within there the vulva, so the healing woman that would travel around. And then onto certain things like even the gypsies with their Shivani. And kept going on, and it was a repeating thing for me to find this woman living on the outskirts that really sort of helped, healed, and did this occult, arcane, bizarre sort of thing. And so that's when I, kind of stumbled across the whole hedgewitch idea, which was more of an Anglo-Saxon, English, Celtic sort of thing. And hedge-witches are traditionally actually just the people that live beyond the hedge. The traditional villagers would have a hedge around them to protect them from the outside, and the hedge-witch would live outside of that in order to fossick and get everything she needed, and she would live much more in tune to nature, and people would leave the hedge to go find her to have their healings and whatever else they needed done. And so I guess it was kind of that last label that I kind of took and decided that that was the closest to what I felt like doing, who I felt I was, and who I felt I wanted to become. Luckily, it's pretty much a constant learning process. There's nothing to say I am there yet, I'm sure, but it's getting there. So that's kind of my rambling on about me for a little while. I'm now going to go into something that was actually questioned to me by a lot of people, because I am also a researcher in this whole concept of shadow people. Shadow people obviously is one of the worst that you can have when it comes to negative energy, negative entities, everything like that. They're up there with like demonic level sort of stuff. We're talking creepy horror film stuff going down. But I thought I would sort of cover a bit more of the basic negative energy and sorts of things that you can do in that situation. So first of all, I'm going to cover a couple of ways that you actually do the physical cleansing, and then you actually use the crystals to then support that. One of the easiest and quickest ways that most people find is, of course, the Native American and other shamanic sort of style things of a smudge stick. Now, this is a very tiny one. This is actually my little mini smudge sticks. I absolutely adore them because they're perfect for just kind of everyday people. I have other ones that are like this big. They're huge. But this is the awesome one. And so all you're literally doing with the smudge sticks, there's a variety of ways and means that you can go about using them. I find that most people who are just kind of doing it to cleanse their house or to cleanse like the negativity of a previous owner when they move into the next house, things like that, these are the kind of ones they'll go to. It's largely a case of lighting it. You can state a mantra, and then walking around your house, around your location, fanning the smoke to every single corner of the rooms of the house, especially the doorways, everything like that. This is the way to go. I find a lot of people actually love to use a feather. Now this of course is an Australian feather. There is actually Australian smudge sticks, which I shall be stocking very soon, and I'll show you all then. However, we're kind of crossing over here. But largely you would always use a feather. Now the feather would be there to actually fan the smoke onto the location. It's also very symbolic of the air element, for instance, as well. And a lot of people will tend to also have an abalone shell, which is a symbol of water. So they actually will either carry the smudge stick in the abalone shell and fan it from there, or I actually find it useful to put salt in the abalone shell, and if you need to put out your smudge stick and use it for a later time, which can be done, you actually put it out in the salt, and then you actually end up with like this little bit of sort of like sacred salt and everything like that. It's got to be like kept for ritualistic purposes. Don't go running and chucking it on your food or anything. Don't use your sacred salt for your food. Well, actually you probably could, but if you want blessed food, but don't then go use it for sacred purposes, you know? So that's kind of a rough introduction to smudging. I know I have jumped over a whole lot of other information that's really in-depth about smudging, but for a quick and easy cleanse of your home, that will largely cover it. Smudging's pretty effective against energy. It can be effective against beings, ghosties, ghoulies, everything like that. But if there's things that are a bit higher power, then you need to start looking at other stuff. Now, this is Palo Santo. And this is my trusty one. This is the one I use all the time, and I actually just keep using it and put it out in the salt, as with the smudge sticks. Palo Santo is actually a holy wood. It's known as a holy wood. People would have seen it in Supernatural. They stake the vampires with it. I don't recommend staking anybody with it. That's kind of illegal. Don't do illegal stuff. However, the Palo Santo is an amazing natural wood to use against pretty much everything. People have even been known to use it against the high level sort of demonic stuff. No, I'm not Christian religious. However, demon's like the closest name for the really bad juju, never been human psycho stuff. Yeah. So once again, you're literally just lighting it and fanning the smoke across. I will attempt to light this guy, but if I don't. I'm sure you guys will understand. And what you want to do is get it going. Palo Santo is a lot harder to light. The smudge will light harder, a lot faster. And you want to get it to the point, don't talk on your flame, you don't want to be burning like this, okay? This is the start. Then, when it gets established, you want it to be going so it's just smouldering. Now, this is the point that you're getting all the really kind of healthy white smoke that you can use around your house. If need be, you can keep blowing on it to keep it lit. And so this is the one that you're going to walk around the house. Same again with a feather if you wish. You can use an entire smudging fan. They're absolutely amazing. And you can walk around your house doing the same thing. Recite a mantra, something along the lines of, you know, protect all of the people within this house. Let only love and happiness enter. Things like along those lines. And you can, once again, go around all of your house, particularly focus on doors, windows, everything like that. They're doing like gateways for people to get in. People, yeah, bad shit. Read bad shit. So that's Palo Santo. So as I said, that's like a higher level wood. If you want something else, there's, for instance, the Judeo-Christian holy water. That's another method that's also used. Otherwise, there is, of course, Resins. Frankincense especially is super cleansing. Frankincense is one of the highest level sort of incenses that you can get, and I specifically love the resins. The resins are amazing. So what you tend to do is get something like these charcoal dudes, and they actually come in a packet of a billion of little suckers. And what you can do is, these are like little firelighters. I find it's much easier, oh god, I find it's much easier to use just a single one. If need, you can actually break them up as well. And what you're going to do is put them in some kind of, preferably like a clay bowl, something that's not really going to conduct energy that much, because as you're holding it, you don't want to be burning your hand with it. So you put that in on your bowl, and watch out because that happens all the time. And then you're setting it, we're setting it alight, just like we did with the Palo Santo, to the point where it starts to really smoulder. What you can do then is take your resin mixers and place it upon it, and it will really start to smoke up. That's the smoke that you need to use, and so that's the one that you're going around the house, once again, with a feather, smudge fan, or even you can blow it. Don't breathe it in too much because that shit's carcinogenic. And then, yeah, blow it around your house. So I especially recommend frankincense. There's also ones such as myrrh, dragon's blood. All of those are really useful. Copal, amber, all those are really great. So theoretically by now you have cleansed your house, right? So next we want to start going on our crystals to really boost it up and to prevent anything else from getting in. One of the best ones, of course, is black tourmaline. Everyone always asks me, how can you tell it's tourmaline? You've got like a black rock in front of you, how do you tell what it is? All of these little fracture lines, or like sort of natural sort of craft lines, this is what is black tourmaline. This will be present in every single different type of black tourmaline. I have, even if it's the tiniest little bit, that's where you know it's the black tourmaline. There's a million little black rocks out there, really hard to kind of tell the difference. So the black tourmaline is one of the ones that you're putting in every single corner of your room, or all the corners of your house, if need be, especially align it to the cardinal points. It actually creates a barrier. It can create a actual barrier to negativity coming back in. Perfect. The other one I love to use is castorite. Now you can actually see where there's the cross on it. This is actually 4 andalusite crystals next to each other, and then the black sort of in between them forms a cross. Of course, Judeo-Christians are going to tell you that that's the cross of Jesus. No, really, that's actually a thing. But of course, to us pagans and many other cultures around the world, that is the elements. So the 4 cardinal symbols, the 4 elements, everything like that. Also, did you see Rocky the Wonder Cat? Yeah, look at him. That's my familiar. So yeah, anyway, sorry, I am totally getting sidetracked here. So yeah, put them around the house. I tend to put them wherever the center of the house is, and the whole idea of it is that the cross represents the elements, represents the symbols, and it radiates happiness in every single direction. So what you're doing is creating this physical barrier with the tourmaline, and then using the energy of the castorite to fill that with not just emptiness, but with happiness and joy and unity within your family. Okay, so other than that, there is actually a bunch of herbs that you can use. Exactly the same method as using the resin. This is just like a great little side thing, because most of these herbs actually will exist in your own garden and they're really easy to find. So you'd use a dried version, exactly the same thing. Put it on smoke, put it onto the charcoal, let it smoke up, and then use the smoke of it around. These include basil, fennel, rosemary, and really awesomely for Australians, eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is actually a super cleansing plant. So it's obviously been used by the Aboriginal Australians for a very long time. They use it a lot in various ceremonies. I will go into why I know that later on. My family is actually Noongar, even though I'm the whitest person you'll ever meet. I am the palest person in my family. So yeah, if you're Australian, grab some of the eucalyptus. It's absolutely amazing, and it's everywhere. We don't really realise how much it's around until we have a looky and then think, oh yeah, it's just eucalyptus. No, amazing healing plant. Get into it. Okay, so onto the question, because I know I'm absolutely rambling at this point. I'm very sorry. I have been asked, how do I feel about other people touching my crystals, and is it a no-no for me? This is kind of a flexible one. I generally say with people, look, if you've got your really, really sacred crystals, don't let other people touch them. Every single person that touches a crystal, their energies come off on them. And you just have to be constantly re-cleansing them and constantly looking out for these energies that kind of people tend to leave like fingerprints. However, like especially when I was teaching, I had a lot of crystals that every man and their dog was touching, everything like that. I have the gallery located here. Everybody touches everything. My collection is in the back. People want to touch that because they want to look at it. So what I tend to sort of say is that, yes, you can let other people touch it. Yes, I let other people touch my crystals, but you do need to cleanse them more than if it's just for your own personal use and it's only you touching them. Some of the ones that are like super sacred, like my giant Lemurian seed crystal that I showed you last week, no, I wouldn't let other people touch that. I don't like other people touching that. I keep it tucked away from people. Same with a couple of other bigger pieces. That's sort of really my kind of thing. With other people's crystals, it's totally your choice. I would, yeah. Just remember that every single person touches it. It's like smudge marks on stainless steel. You're going to see those fingerprints forever. So cleanse the crap out of it. Which leads me on to next week. I'm going to talk to you all about cleansing crystals, because I haven't done that yet, and last week was choosing crystals. I kind of skipped a whole bunch because, dude, shadow people. I may also give you some more information about shadow people and how all of that came about. Kind of links into my story, so hey, let's continue on with that. Sorry for the rabbiting this week. I'm a little bit hyperactive. I will talk to you all next week, and feel free to shoot me any questions you want. Catch me on Facebook on Gypsy Mischief or 3 Marigna. And yeah, if there's anything from today, especially the products and bits and pieces that you're interested in, drop me a line. Ciao!